بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد قال المصنف رحمه الله تعالى في كتاب رياض الصالحين في باب حق الجاري والوصية به. Yahya ibn Sharaf al-Nawawi says in his book entitled The Gardens of the Righteous in the chapter of the rights of the neighbor and good treatment of him. We were talking about the verse in the chapter of An-Nisa, verse number 36, chapter number 4, verse 36, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was mentioning the different classifications or different types of people in regards to ihsan. And ihsan, who could translate ihsan? What is ihsan in English? Ihsan? Huh? Excellence, naam, excellence, excellence. And what's the difference between excellence and perfection?
The level, as a level,
Kaif?
as a level of Iman in Islam, because Islam is Islam, Iman, and Ihsan.
No.
So if it is maratib al-ibadah,
What's the difference between excellence and perfection?
perfection,
Perfection, perfection. Kamal, Kamal. Exactly. Exactly. Al-kamalu lillah, as they say in Arabic, right? Perfection is for Allah. Perfection cannot be for human beings. And that is the essence of Tawheed. That is the essence of monotheism. Is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is perfect. It is impossible for Allah to be imperfect. It is impossible for Allah to have a deficiency in any of His names or attributes. Allah is Ar-Razzaq, for example. Is His provisions perfect? Huh? So if Allah doesn't give you what you ask for, and what you ask for is halal, does that show imperfection in Allah's provision? No. Because what else is perfect? Allah's wisdom. Why He chose not to bless you with this job or give you this money, why He chose that is due to His wisdom. And His wisdom is what? Perfect. And that wisdom is also coupled with knowledge. Allah knows your situation better than you know your own situation. Allah knows that situation that you lost money or lost your job. Allah knows what's going to happen after that. So Allah knows what's better for you than you. So His knowledge coupled with wisdom, based on all of that, He provides you in the way that He wants to provide for you. So all of His names, and that's why we take names and attributes, for us to understand each and every name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is founded, it is the essence of it is perfect. And they all work together, just as the example we gave. They all work together. So we talk about Ar-Razzaq, Al-Hakim, Al-Alim. Everything Allah does is based off of perfect knowledge, is based off of perfect wisdom. But with mankind, it is excellence. And excellence is doing what is within their limited capabilities. Every mankind is they're limited. And whatever they do to the best of their ability or to their capacity is excellence. When they say give it 100%, right? 100% of your capabilities. Someone else may be able to do much better than you. So your 100% is that person's 70%. No? But the universal 100% is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's very important when we translate ihsan as excellence. And we know that perfection is only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about and worship Allah and join no other partners with Him, and do good to parents, kinfolks, orphans. We talked about the parents, we talked about the kinfolks. What was the point that we mentioned about parents and worship of Allah? That Allah mentions this in numerous places in the Quran. Right after He mentions worship, He mentions what? And to the walidaini ihsana. And to be good, to practice excellence with them. And what was the nice little benefit we said that Allah says excellence with the parents? Starts off with the parents because we cannot be perfect, but they may be the most difficult to do ihsan to. Our parents, we will always fall short if you think about it. As Sheikh said, كَمَا رَبَّيَانِ صَغِيرًا. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about, when we talked about, you make dua for your parents, have mercy on them as they both raised me when I was when I was young. Now, we have no idea what it's like to carry. No idea. Allah musta'an. May Allah forgive us. So here we're talking about وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. That's the first category. Everything else, and the kinsfolk, we talked about the kinsfolk, the orphans. What is an orphan? What's the definition of an orphan in Islam? The one that his father has died before they reached puberty. And we said puberty can roughly be for men, for boys what? 15 years. And some of the signs are, quickly? Hair, primarily in the private area. Boys. A deep voice, right? Also, when one has wet dream as well, that's a sign of puberty as well. And when talking about he said the poor here and the neighbor. And the poor, he said the masakin, the miskin is the one that doesn't have money that suffices them for the day in general, or more specific, or it could be the one that doesn't have money to suffice them in general. And when they say the miskin and faqir, one may ask, why didn't Allah say faqir here? Faqir also means the poor one. But when they put them together, like he mentions in the verses of zakat, in the verse of zakat, when he mentions the categories of people for zakat, إِنَّمَا الصَّدَقَاتُ لِلْفُقَرَاءِ وَالْمَسَاكِينَ. He says, then what do we say here? This is where the scholars make a differentiation. The faqir is much more of a severe situation. Oh, you get that? For the faqir, it's severe. You get that, guys? No? I know it's late at night. I managed. For the faqir, it is they don't have enough money for that day. Yani. The miskin, they may have enough, but wallahi, it may not suffice them. Maybe for the week, or they can't pay their rent for that month. Yani. No? But when you just see one of these two terms, know that it includes both. Does everyone understand that? And that's what the scholars say with these terms. إِذَا اجْتَمَعَتْ افترقت وإذا افترقت اجتمعت. If you see miskin, then it includes faqir. If you see the poor one, then it includes the one that doesn't have enough for a day or a month. But if you see them separated, know that there's a difference. We find this also with the term Islam and Iman. If there's Islam, it also means the belief in the angels and the books and so on and so forth. So this is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the poor and the neighbor who is near of kin and the neighbor who is a stranger. وَالْجَارِ دِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْجَارِ الْجُنُبِ. So when he talks about qurbah from qarib, and junub means that which is distant. And that's where we get the word janaba. What tajannub means to be distant from. You are far from. Janaba, you are far from purity. Yeah? When he says jar al-junub, means the far neighbor. So some scholars mention here that the near, it's translated as the near of kin, but it could also be near in, vicinity. So it could be someone that is your next door neighbor, or someone that is far away from you. And scholars made the difference if it's 4 houses, 40 houses away. In any case, the one that is closest to you, you should try your best to do ihsan. And there's going to be other texts in here on the hadith speaking about the righteousness or the importance of the neighbor. What is one reason that we should have ihsan and be good to our neighbors? If someone was to break into your house, who would be the first person to know? No. If none of you never, just me, myself, got into an argument with the wife, just me, I know none of that happens to you, and the voice is to raise, right? Who would hear it first? The neighbor. If you were to move into a new area, who would be the people you'd want to see? The immediate neighbors. Hey, ask the neighbor before getting the house or purchasing the house or living in the house. right? So you want to know that. The neighbors have a high importance in Islam. Muslim and non-Muslim. Non-Muslim. So here when he's talking about the next of, or the neighbor who is near of kin, or the neighbor who is a stranger, it's different understanding interpretations in that, but in general it is talking about the one that you are closest to or knows you the most, whether it's close in proximity or in relation. Now, and then the companion by your side and the wayfarer. The companion by your side is the companion that someone would say, the one that is traveling with you, the one that you are traveling with. Now, the one that you are going on a voyage with, right? So if you were to go on a voyage and you were to stop at the store, and you walk into the store, you say, I have to go to the bathroom, for example, and then you buy something for yourself, buy something for the people that you are traveling with, the people that you are traveling with. And then Allah mentions the wayfarer, the one that is traveling and comes to maybe the masjid, or comes, they're visiting, a visitor. If you find that this person is visiting the Coppell masjid, for example, between Maghrib and Isha, you say you want to go out to eat, this is ihsan. This is ihsan. This is doing some form of excellence and goodness to them. And those whom your right hand possesses. وَمَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ. What do they mean by who your right hand possesses? What is meant by that? A slave. Right. Okay. War slave. Slave. Yeah. So what do we mean by war slave? What is meant by war slave? Right. So like a prisoner of war. So if there was a war that was to take place, there would be people that were left the victorious. Those who were victorious would obviously be the ones that are living from the people that the soldiers that fought. So, but there would be left over. Who would be left over from the losing? The women, the children. Right, they would be left. So it's very important for when we use this term in particular, we don't want to fall into the trap of those that may not be Muslim, and they may say, okay, Islam has slaves, huh? Especially those, and we talked about this before, of African American descent. They would take that very personally. How do I come into a religion? You have slaves, right? But the beautiful thing about Islam is that we have to look, and when we see in our religions, you have to contextualize it, right? So firstly, when we see the term of slavery, it is not the slavery that we understand from the transatlantic slave trade, right? When people were taken from Africa and then brought to America's North, Central, and South, right? To the Americas, and they were taken for free labor, and Allahu Musta'an, the way they were brought, it was inhumane, it was dhulm, it was oppression, it was haram. Definitely, those have to answer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if it is from war, and then there are individuals that are left over, you take them in your homes, and you feed them as you feed them, you clothe them as you clothe them, as the Prophet ﷺ said, and we will take, inshaAllah ta'ala. That can be termed as slaves, but it's not in that connotation that we understand, the negative connotation. Hasha wa kalla. It would never be in that fashion. So here, even if we realize the context of the verses that it's talking about, you do excellence too. Right? So it's important to understand that these different types of characters, these different individuals, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, do good and be excellent to them, or do perform excellence when you are around them or in their presence, inshaAllah ta'ala. But with the highlighted portion in this verse is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the different types of neighbors, which we covered the two. Inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those that are aware of our presence and the effect and the influence that we can have upon those around us. Remember, excellence is doing your best with what you have in front of you, inshallah. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of the muhsineen, inshallah ta'ala. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Anyone have any questions or comments? Hayakum Allah. No.